Okay, in this series of slides, we're going to show primary ecological succession as seen on an outcrop of bedrock in a little Spanish town outside of Madrid, Spain. In fact, it's called Becerril de la Sierra. We used to have a summer place there where during the summer we'd go up there and see the beautiful views of the Sierra Nevada mountains. And I saw this and I said, wow. So I did take a group of my high school students during one of our summer ecology programs, and I'll be showing you a movie that I made of that too, or a slideshow. So there we go. All right, so there it is. This is a little town, and this was apparently a house that was abandoned in either Civil War or whatever. Some of it remains, but there was a large outcropping of bedrock here. And we went to look at it a little more closely, and you can see the sheep there as well. So the shepherd would bring his flock over the fields there. This was free grazing area. And there's the bedrock. And a part of it, you see, has no covering on it at all. But here you see a little bit of moss, it looks like. And you can see the remnants of the sheep passing over. And you can see some lichens there and some moss that during the wet season, again, part of the stone dust and organic matter from the droppings of the sheep give you a little bit of soil, and with the spores of the moss triggered growth in the moss. And here's a little more extensive patch of it. And there we see lichens. Now, lichens are your initial colonizer of bare rock. Again, the spores get attached. They develop little rhizoids that attach to the rock. As they carry on their chemical reactions, there's an interaction between the organism and the rock, and it dissolves some of that out. But notice here, there's probably 4 or 5 different kinds of lichens. I'm going to try to keep it simple and not give you any scientific information of this, but there's one, there's another, there's some up over here, over there. And also, here are a bunch of little flowers. Again, where there was enough little soil for the seeds to germinate and produce these little flowers. So on the surface of this outcropping, there was quite a variety of flora. And maybe right down in here you can see some of it. And there's a little beginning of grass there. But these are the mosses, and you can see the lichens on the surface. And again, we can't say enough for a little bit of organic material from the sheep. And again, where there are crevices and the soil would gather, and again with water during the wet season, quite an abundance of moss here and other plants. There you can see some of the flowers over there. So here, elevation, position, all are involved. Bedrock. And then as you get more soil, then you get the flowers, the grass, the moss is still there, the lichens, and all of this giving rise to biological decomposition as they add organic matter to the rock dust that's being dissolved. And again, lots of beauty there. And then you'll notice off of the face of the bedrock, we see there is soil and basically grasses, and a few trees have established themselves. And this would be the next level of ecological succession. And it's a marvel sometimes how people have trouble growing things, but their nature in a crevice of a rock where there's soil and a seed and a plant, and then even more woody plants. Again, more soil. Now, if it wasn't enough, of course, this would die, and then the debris of this would be the humus that helps build the soil profile. And then eventually taller shrubs. So in summary, we see in our everyday environment examples of the wonders of nature, showing here through time the slow gradual change in the landscape of an abandoned house near a stone outcropping of what happens time and time again, the slow ecological succession. In this case, from stone to soil to pioneer organisms. Now, we see this every day on a building site where soil may be dug up to make a basement or something, and there's a pile. And if it's left there a while, next thing you know, we start to see grasses and weeds growing on that pile. And if left long enough, would go to later stages of ecological succession. So we'll keep this one short. Everyday science.